What up, BC?
What's
Can you
up,
hear me?
homie?
What's up, homie home? Where you at today?
The office, the new office.
Oh, nice. How do you like it?
It's lovely. Are you recording this too? Can we get this on the replay?
Oh, this is on the replay. It's automatically recording.
Sweet. So what's the deal? We're going to be on for what, an hour?
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
See how many people show up. We had quite a few attendees. Like
Nice.
170. All right, everybody. What's up? I'm Colton, Lindsay with the WGR Academy. So I first of all want to take just a second, thank Brian Casella, Chase DeMiles, Shauna Overman, and Ricky Caruth for being on here. And a special thanks to Ricky for a little brainstorming session. We had a couple weeks to put this together. So put thank you in the chat box, because these guys are the ones that are putting this together for you guys. And then also I just want to appreciate you guys all for being here, because I know and I understand that we all have a pretty busy life. There's other things we could do. And you guys could be doing something else right now, like prospecting, but you're here instead. So thank you very much. Couple rules to be involved in this type of setting with us or with me and anything you do with the WGR Academy. Number one is you got to participate. Participation is how you get your brain functioning, your muscles moving, and get you moving into the right direction. Second one is you got to do it at a level 10. If you're going to be here, don't just sit in the background. Make sure you guys are blowing up that chat box with questions, things that you're learning, things that you're taking away. Okay. And one of the things that I want you guys to do in order to participate is I'm going to ask questions along the way to these guys, and I want you guys to be asking questions as well. So let's set the stage with what this is going to look like today. And back up real quick. I've been in business 14 years, and there became a point where it was no longer about the money, but it was about the difference I can make for you guys. And that's what I started to notice with, especially with Ricky, Brian, Chaston, Shauna's getting there now with her business. And so we wanted to give back to you guys. Okay. So the structure of today's call is we're going to be talking about the listing presentation. How many of you guys, put a yes in the chat, it says you guys want to dominate even more on your listing presentation? Like you want to walk in and you just want to flap that contract down, get the contract signed, walk out. How many of you guys would like to have 80% or more of the people sign your listing agreement and never even question your commissions, questions your terms, questions what you're going to actually do to perform? Well, I'm going to share with you guys what these guys do. And each one of them are going to have a few minutes to describe and explain what they do on their listing presentation, first of all. And then I'm going to start a series of questions for them about their listing presentation, at what point also you guys will be able to ask questions as well, so we can get them answered as well. These guys, just a side note too, are all going to be either speaking or on a panel at the upcoming summit in Dallas, Texas, September 19th through 21st. So I'm really excited to have them there. What I'm going to do is just start right now with Ricky on the right side of my screen. In like 30 seconds or less, just explain who you are, some of your background and your credentials, so that people don't know who you are.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Been in real estate since 2002. Made it through the crash, actually lost everything, came back, learned everything through the crash. Went back to roofing houses, worked on an oil rig, came back, learned everything from that moment, and that's what took me to the top. I've been the #1 RE/MAX agent in Alabama 3 times, sold 100 properties a year since 2014 and still going. And just here to help people, that were in my shoes, that were confused about the business, that there's a whole different way that you can do it and succeed by just, using your personality as your strength.
Awesome. Cool. How many of you guys know who Ricky is? Put a yes in the comments. Let's move over to Shauna Overman. And a lot of you guys probably don't know who Shauna is, but Shauna, go ahead and introduce yourself and so we can learn about you here.
Okay, awesome. 2019 is my 5th full year in the business. I got my license at the end of 2013. I was with a big firm for 4.5 years. Stepped out last year, started my own firm. We're on pace to close 150 units this year. We have 6 agents and staff members total, so we're doing a lot with just a few people, which is really exciting. Colton has been my coach for the last 2 years I believe. So he's made a huge impact on how we do business, how we take listings, and where we're at. Currently today, we have 27 deals pending, 23 listings that we've taken in the last 3 weeks. So we're really killing it out here in North Carolina. And we're on the East Coast, so we've already signed deals today.
Oh, sweet. So Shauna's last name is Overman. I'll type that into the comments. Go find her on the Facebook. Check this out, gang. A couple years ago, I think 3 years ago, you went through my financial freedom program. What did you sell, like 40 homes a year then?
Yeah. We were
40 homes. Oh, so in 3 years, guys, she went from 40 homes a year to she's on track for, would you say, 160, 180 this year?
160 right now, yeah.
160 homes, ladies and gentlemen. Freaking crazy. Chasten Miles, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. I am Chasten Miles out of Dallas, Texas. Currently running a real estate team, 5 agents, 2 admin people. We're super big on lead generating. Been in the business since 2014. Pretty much been all over the place in this business. Have seen a lot of things, and recently, like I said, within the last year, started to branch off and build my own little enterprise. And so D Magazine, Inman, Real Trends, you name it. I've been a part of it, and I'm happy to share my knowledge these days with agents all across the country through my YouTube channel, through my webinars, all that good stuff. And yeah, happy to be here.
Cool. One of the things I love about Chasten is he's helping us a lot in Dallas, because that's where he's from, is his ability to create amazing relationships that create opportunity to grow your business or grow other opportunities. So thanks for being here. Now, Mr. Brian Casella, whether you love him, you hate him, Mr. Tattoo himself, go ahead and share who you are, what you're doing here, man.
Thanks for having me, Colton. And by the way, dude, you jacked my swag with the blue blockers, dude. Thanks.
Hey, do you ride Uber? Do you ride Uber, BC?
Yeah, sometimes with you, man.
Okay.
You taught me.
Sometimes I do too. We have so much in common. That's so cool.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Brian Casella, I'm in Southern California. I'm right outside of LA. I've been in the business. This August will be 6 years. You know, I built it from the ground up, just real old school. You know, I learned from Mike Ferry when I started. So it was just door knocking, cold calling, building your skills. And I just kind of dove in head first with that. And as I started documenting my journey, people just started, you know, kind of attaching themselves to it. And that's how I grew everything on social media. But my team now consists of 4 agents. I just finally hired a full-time admin, right? We upgraded from a part-time to a full-time. Agent-to-agent referral now is exploding for me. I'm getting a lot more from my database now too, as far as referrals, but you know, we're still grinding, doing the cold calling and door knocking and expireds and FSBOs and all that fun stuff. And we just keep growing. And this year we're on track right now to do about 57 or 58 units. That's what we're on track for.
I think what's really cool about that too is you're not in the production, right? It's the level 5 with your team doing that, and you're focusing on growing Modern Success and other revenue streams, which is really, really cool. So awesome, gang. We got a bunch of people here. How many of you guys are excited right now to really dive in deep with just taking your listing presentation to a whole nother level? I want you guys to know, anyone that stays to the end, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to actually get my listing presentation mastery program absolutely free. So stay till the end so you guys can hear about that, because it's going to be a today only thing. Okay. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to just start on the right side of my screen, which is with Shauna right now. In the next 3 to 5 minutes, give us the rundown of your listing presentation. Like, what is the overall concept of it? I know you can't go through the whole thing, but give us the blueprint of it.
Okay, so my listing presentation is definitely catered to me. I've taken bits and pieces of what I've learned from other people, but I've also had to learn what works in our market. And I want to encourage everyone on here to really get comfortable with other people's ideas and presentations first, because that's what I did. And then I adjusted for what I was seeing in the market. So if a seller is meeting with me, first of all, someone else has scheduled that appointment. So my first opportunity walking through the door, I'm building rapport, introducing myself. Then we sit down. I don't look at the house first. We sit down and I go over 3 questions with them. Number 1, where are they going? When do they need to be there? Number 2, if they have a price in mind already, because if I'm not going to be hired or if I'm really far off, I want to know immediately. There are times that I will walk out of a listing appointment 5 minutes in and I'm done. One of those actually almost happened yesterday. And my third follow-up question is, can I be honest with them? Because I need to set the stage of how comfortable I'm going to be in the appointment and whether or not they actually want the truth from me. Yesterday, after question number 2, I thought I was going to be out the door, but when I asked question number 3, I ended up getting the listing before I left, because I was honest and upfront with the seller who had already met with 10 other agents, and they were giving him, complete BS out of the gate. It's either all about them or it's all about getting the listing and reducing their commission, which we're not charging the lowest commission in the market by far. So for us, one of our areas that we highlight when we're in a listing appointment, after we get to know the seller, after we talk about those 3 questions, everything we do is social media. I mean, we're getting 18,000 views on listings within 48 hours on our social media boosts. So we're showing that out of the gate. There are no other firms in my area that can compete with that. They're just not getting those types of views. And if you've looked on Zillow, the properties on Zillow are not getting anywhere near that. We have admin on our team that reports those numbers back to the sellers. And I'd love to see those numbers in other markets, but we're just doing some incredible things by boosting our listings and putting them right in front of people. So it's definitely something we're highlighting. By the time I'm done with those 3 questions and talking about social media, I'm usually hired. Right now, we're competing at a really high level, but there are a lot of agents who are going in the door and they're not really caring about what the sellers want, what the sellers need, and they're either completely selling themselves or they're not selling themselves at all.
Cool. Awesome.
In a nutshell.
So that's it in a nutshell. So a couple notes I wrote down for you guys to pay attention. What was also real quick, what was the question 2 that you asked?
Question number 2 is, we're asking them, in a perfect world, what would your house sell for?
Okay, cool. Awesome. So a couple things I wrote down is, number 1 is she asked on that 3rd question, can I be honest with you? I have a similar question of mine. It says, hey, is it all right if I'm ruthlessly compassionate with you? Which is another way of saying that. Just making sure that you're setting the stage that you can actually be upfront with them. Because what you don't want to do, guys, is you don't want to adapt to try and buy the listing by overpricing it or getting a cut commission or doing something like that, because your competition will do that. Second thing I wrote down is she tailored it for her own presentation. I think we're going to hear about that from Ricky as well. Listen, when you go through the listing presentation master, when you guys show up at the summit in Dallas, we're going to give you key things to do a step-by-step presentation. But at the end of the day, it's your presentation. You've got to be confident in what you're going to deliver. And then the third thing is she's highlighting some of the things that she does with her listings on social media that really blow the competition out of the water. So those are some things I took away. Ricky, over to you. Go ahead and give us your cliff notes.
Okay, so cool. I really like what Shauna said. Be honest with you, taking a little bit of something from everybody, that's key. But I do it a little different. Mine is really, really simple. I think simplicity is the best way to produce and keep everything simple, and you can scale it. But when I walk in, I take a folder with me. I'll tell you what's in it in a minute. But when I walk in, I'm kind of the opposite. I want to see the house and talk to them. I want to get them feeling comfortable as can be. So I'm going to let them walk through the house. I'm going to let them talk and tell me everything about the house. And I'm going to try at some point to start connecting with this person much deeper, right? And really at the end of the day, what I'm trying to figure out is why they're selling. Like what is causing them to make this decision? Did they lose their job, get a job? Did their mom die? Did their kids go to college? What's going on in their life? And that's when I start talking that kind of language, that's when I feel like I start really connecting with this person. And when I start really connecting with this person and we start to get this friend or friend, that's when I got them. Because that's when, most agents come in and they have this huge presentation, this PowerPoint, all this stuff. I like how simple Shauna's was. And I feel like Shauna's does connect as well because she's asking the right questions. Where do you have to go? When do you have to be there? What price point? Can I be honest with you? Those are incredible questions. And those questions will connect a lot deeper than a lot of other presentations. I think that's why Shauna wins a lot of her listings. So by the time I figure out why they're selling and I start relating to that reason on that deep level, then we've made a circle around the house and we're right back to wherever I set the folder down at a table or a couch or wherever we're going to sit. We're going to feel comfortable. So in my folder, I have a Remax folder. I got a Ricky Caruth pen. And I've got comps on the house, right? It's just one page. It's nothing. It's not a bunch of pages or anything. I want everything to be really simple and easy to read. I have a blank listing agreement and a $20 gift card, some business cards. So what I'm doing when I sit down is I want to go deeper with what they're trying to do, why they're trying to do it, and then I want to develop a game plan with them that involves me as their agent, right? And I want to talk about the game plan from going from A to B to get it sold to C, wherever they're going to go, whatever they're trying to do, and everything just kind of falls into place. So mine's more personal. It's more about confidence. It's more about connecting, and that's what's won me the most listings. And I've tried everything. So. Exactly.
Awesome. So yeah, go into the appointment now. Now I'm still a little old school with my listing whole process, I guess you can say. So we still do the pre-listing presentation. So once the listing appointment is confirmed or set, we send over our pre-listing packet to their house. And so that way they can review it before our actual listing appointment. It does have a copy of our agreement in there. It has a copy of all the disclosures that we have to have. And like Shauna, we don't necessarily have the lowest commissions in our market area. So I like them to kind of know that stuff up front. And typically, pretty much 10 times out of 10, they're going to bring those questions up because they've already had a chance to view everything. But day of the actual listing appointment, I do tour the house. I go through the house with them. And this is kind of my time to build that rapport because for the most part, I'm not going to know who they are or pretty much anything about them. So as we're walking through the house, we are talking about the house, what attracted them to that house, how long they've been there. If I see like kids' rooms, I'll, tell them about their kids. I'll notice different things on the wall. Like I really use this time to like look for stuff to talk to them about that are not so much just so listing focused. And, so we're not really talking about foundations and stuff. We're talking about plaques on the wall and we're talking about paintings and music. So once we do that, I'm taking notes on the rooms. And for the most part, I'm just taking notes on things that I see like, oh, this room can be moved around or we should do something different in here. Then once we finish that, is our kind of like sit down time. And I do have questions that I ask as well. One of those questions is, what's most important to you when choosing a realtor? I want to know like what they're actually looking for from me. And these questions that I ask are to help me in my sales process down the line if it comes to a point where like I need to overcome some objections. So what's most important when working with the realtor? Also, when working with the realtor, what are your pain points? So like what things don't you like? What things annoy you? I really want to know like how they want to be treated. And then lastly, I ask them, do they have a specific price in mind? This is what gets to lead me into my actual presentation and price discussion, because a lot of times people will say a price, but they'll say, oh, I want to know what you say, or you're the expert, or, whatever. So this is a great opener for the actual, okay, let's just sit down and look at everything. I don't give them a price. I look through all the comps with them, and I point out in the comps discussion, and I want to make it like super interactive. We look at bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, list price, sales price, and then days on market. And like literally through every single comp, we go through that with each other. And then I basically work the comps with them in front of them so they can see how I get to my number. And then after the fact, like sometimes some people will still say out like a super high number, like, oh, well, I still want this. But other times having this discussion, they've probably changed their mind. Like, oh, I was going to say this, but now I see, that is truly worth this. So from there, I transition into, okay, well, here's how we're going to hit that number, or, you know, hit whatever number. I break up the marketing for them and show them their customized marketing plan. And I transition, like I transition all meetings that I have with, are you ready to get started? And then we kind of go from there to signing all the documents.
All right. Thank you, Colton. So the listing presentation in 3 to 5 minutes. All right. A lot of it, first of all, I love what everybody said, and I want everybody that's attending to realize that the main focus of what you just heard from the previous 3 speakers was that we make it about them. It's not about us. We're not, you know, ranting and raving about how good we are. We make it about the client, right? And that's my focus. So even before myself or one of my team members goes over to the house to list it and have that discussion, we emphasize beforehand having, you know, deep, genuine conversations about their situation, getting to know them, preparing everything for the pre-listing portion, which is what we do that's similar to Chasten. I've literally revamped almost everything. And even though we still send, you know, the documentation, like the blank contract so they can see it, a net sheet and those types of things, what I did was I started kind of breaking some things down from the pre-listing package and actually sending it to them as video. And I've been experimenting with this the last like 6 months, and it's been very effective because just like Ricky said, I want to keep stuff simple. You know, I want to make it very easy and accessible to people. I want them to be able to just, you know, watch a video or read, you know, one page and get the thing. So we've been sending that, extremely effective. The conversation leading up to the listing appointment, I want to find out more about them, their situation, what's important to them about everything, how they're going to go about choosing a realtor, what the top 2 or 3 things are that's important to them and their situation, and get to know them a little bit better. So by the time that occurs and they've seen the videos and the pre-listing information, by the time we walk in, there's already a connection there. We're not just some face that they saw, some person they saw on video. They actually feel like they know us already. So already the conversation is a little bit more comfortable and a little better. So we walk in, and the presentation that we do is basically condensed into 3 portions, okay? We first walk in, have a chat with them, go look around the house, confirm everything that we discussed over the phone, you know, chat with them a little bit more, make them feel a little bit more comfortable. When we sit down, I would say the first 5 minutes and first section is confirming their situation. Again, confirming what's important to them and really just having a heart-to-heart with them about the situation and what their expectations are and what it's going to take, okay? The second part is when we transition into the meat and bones of the presentation, which primarily focuses on educating them about price and the importance of it, and then going through the CMA. And just like Ricky, we have a simple 1-page CMA printout. It's nothing fancy, right? It's very simple. And the third part is the only part where we'll bring up a few things that has to do with us, where we talk about us a little bit. And it's also similar to what Shauna said. We do push the social media aspect a little bit now because we're realizing that, you know, the clients now are becoming a little bit more up to date on that. And they're actually asking us now, even before we go over, what's your social media presence like? What are you guys doing as far as video and that kind of stuff? So we felt it was good to include it now. And that last portion goes over a little bit about marketing and kind of what we do, just like a quick summary of it in regards to social media, what we do. And then that's when we transition in the end to get them to sign or if they have any other questions. So it's really simple and there's nothing fancy about it at all. It's just a straight up conversation, very comfortable, very relaxed. And we make sure that when we go over there, that they're comfortable, they're ready, and we're sitting in front of somebody who is ready to go and ready to put their home on the market. I can. Very simple. Again, we make it about them, but one of the keys, and I say this before we meet with them, and then again, I reiterate it at the presentation. It's literally in the script. I say, I just want to be clear, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're not here to just take a listing, right? Like that's not what we're here for. Okay. Our focus is to help you get what you want, get you guys to Florida. That's the focus here, and that's what you want, correct? So I just want to let you know from this moment forward, if it's okay with you, that we're going to be 100% real and authentic with you as far as what it's going to take, the situation, the price, and everything. Is that okay? And that's when they say yes. I even discuss that, and I make that clear even before we meet with them, right? I tell them, this is about you. And with your permission, I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it stings a little bit. Is that cool? And I say that over and over, and I think that's really what sets the stage. And it's not just the words, ladies and gentlemen, but a lot of people are going to listen to the quality of your voice when you meet with them, your eye contact, your body language. That's all the stuff that has to scream to them, I'm here for you, right? Because it's very easy to just spurt out a couple of words. But when everything about you says and demonstrates and speaks to the client and says, hey, this person's here for me, they don't have an agenda. That's the key. You cannot have an agenda. If you give them the vibe that you have an agenda, then they're not going to trust you. But the moment that that's off the table, you can create a connection, and it's much easier from that point to have a real, straight up and honest conversation with them about the situation.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So you guys know I already set the stage from the beginning of, can I be honest with them? Because it's really important to me. When I got in this business, I'm not going to lie, I took some listings I shouldn't have. I took some overpriced listings. It was miserable. It was uncomfortable. It was not for me. But the company I was with was just saying, go take everything, right? So I did. One of the first things I say after that is, I would love to sell your house for $1 million. We're not in $1 million market. The average price in my market is $167,000. So if the average price in your market's $1 million, go to $5 million. I'd love to sell your home for $1 million. If I could do that, I would do that tomorrow for you. And I just want you to know that, right? That would be wonderful for you. That would be wonderful for me. And then I give them real world examples of other agents that have been on listing appointments and things that sellers have shared with us. So for example, in our market right now, recently, a couple of agents were talking. There were 5 agents that went on one listing appointment. 4 agents gave the same price and the same commission. 1 agent gave an estimate of $100,000 higher than the other 4 agents and offered to charge 1% less than the other 4 agents. So we use that example and say, look, there are people out there who are willing to take your listing for whatever you say you want to list it at. Not only that, they'll give you inflated numbers and they'll show you a market analysis that makes that seem realistic. But the reality is, if 5 agents are going on that appointment and 4 of us are saying the same thing, something's got to be wrong with the 5th one. Wouldn't you agree? And so they get that real life of what's going on in the market right now. I don't know about you guys, but we are out there competing more than we have in the last 6 years for sure. We're up against agents where in the past we'd go out and just be one agent. At minimum, we're competing with one other agent in our market right now.
I think it's a lot. It's everything really. I mean, you have to go in there and you have to really believe before you even get the listing that you are the best choice, because your intentions are so pure that you're there to help that person with the bigger reasons why they're buying or selling. Why they're buying their next house, why they're selling this house. Your intentions that you're trying to help them with that life move, not necessarily selling the property. There's very few agents that actually think that way. And because of that, it should put you on top. And so that confidence comes from your intent. And it's super important. It needs to be 100%, not 99.9, not 98, not 90. It needs to be 100, fully committed to the fact that you are going to do the best job for them. It could be as quick as, 15, 20 minutes, or it could take up. I've been in listing appointments for a little over an hour. It just kind of depends on where the conversation goes. You don't really try to rush it. You try to, you try to move in the direction that you need to go in, but you're not really, you want them to feel comfortable, whatever it takes to make them feel comfortable with you. Your job when you go to these appointments, your number one job is to make them feel comfortable with you. That's it. And so whatever it takes to make that happen.
So for me, it's 45 minutes to an hour. I'm Southern, so I talk a lot. I tend to be right there at that hour mark. But if I find someone that isn't as talkative or has a completely different personality than I do, then we're usually between 40 and 45 minutes out the door.
Here. Okay. Yeah. So on average, around 30 to 45 minutes. If it's not going in the direction that we feel like it should go in, it could be shorter, 15 minutes or so. But 30 to 45 minutes is kind of that sweet spot, especially since we send the pre-listing packet. Then it kind of chops off a lot of time that normally we would be talking about that other stuff.
I would say on average, most of them are around the 30 to 35 minute mark. We have some that are quicker, some that take a little bit longer, but it really depends on the client. After a while, you'll start to detect people's comfort levels and if they're ready or not. And some people just after 5 minutes, in the beginning portions of the presentation, I just kind of look at them and I'm like, I feel like you're ready already. And they're like, yeah. And then we just sign. But some people have a lot of objections and questions. So it really just depends. But on average, I would say 30 to about 35 minutes from beginning to end. I think that's extremely important, especially the getting them to engage, right? I think it's even more than just them saying yes. You guys have to remember that we live, especially nowadays, in a world where most people's attention spans are very short. You go to the movie or you watch a video, if you really look, the frames are cut like every 2 or 3 seconds, and that conditions people to be, very, have a very short attention span. So you have to make sure that you don't lose people. And I've said this many times. If I'm ever explaining something or you're speaking to somebody and they miss a point or you move on when they're still stuck on something you said or they don't quite grasp a concept that you were explaining, like they're stuck on that now. And as you keep talking, they're still stuck on what you said before. And what you're saying is just going in one ear and out the other. So having those breaks and pauses and getting them to say yes makes sure and makes for certain that you're on the same page, keeps the momentum going, and it keeps you guys together. Right. The worst thing you want to do is ever at a listing presentation is to be speaking and, you can tell that the husband and the wife or the person that you're talking to is checked out. They're looking around. They're not even paying attention. So I 100% think it's extremely important, man, because it sets the stage for later. It keeps them engaged and it makes sure that you can educate them and lead them along the way and they really understand what you're saying.
Cool. Hey, Brian, are your presentation videos on YouTube?
No, the ones that we send in the pre-listing package, they're private videos that I haven't made public, but there is, I think, one. I have a playlist on my YouTube. I think that's called like presentations, pricing, and that kind of stuff. And I think one of the videos from there is in that group of videos that I send. And I think it has to do with like the importance of pricing a home. And it's like a 2-minute video that I made years ago. I think that one is one that's on YouTube public that people can look at. And that's kind of the style of the videos that I put in the pre-listing information.
Cool. Chasten, what do you think about that as far as trial closes or getting them to say yes along the way, ways to make sure they're understanding or staying comfortable through the conversation? How important is that?
Yeah, it's super important to me, and it's so crazy because I feel like I've adapted that in just like normal life and even training my team. I'm like, is this clear? Does this make sense? Yes, yes, yes. But aside from even those like yes questions, I also ask them questions that I know are going to be able to help me sell to them later down the line, or if I have to overcome certain objections. Something that I make a true attempt at doing is establishing some type of personal connection with them very, very, very early on, because I'm not so good in listing appointments when we don't have something like we could talk about if things start going south, or, you know, if like people start getting uncomfortable. I can read body language very well. So it's like, I really want to know what's fun to them, what things do they actually like, and build that true rapport. What things do they look for in an agent? I want to make sure that they understand just like how this relationship can work differently, so that we can truly have those honest conversations. And, you know, if it's jokingly, or if it's like more stern and serious, or I mean, I make things super interactive. So we're constantly talking the whole time, and everything that we do it together. And I just feel like it helps to sell when you have to go in for that like true close, sign the documents here.
Cool. Awesome. Ricky, here's a question for you. How do you handle the client that wants you to list, but also wants you to discount your commission?
The thing about discounting commissions, man, is that they're just testing you. You know what I mean? They want to see I feel like they're just testing you. They want to see that you're going to stand firm, so that when you start negotiating their deal, you're going to stand firm for them. You know what I mean? So I think it's good to push back a little right there, just to see what they do, because they're just putting something in your court to see how you respond, right? And you want to respond in a way that there's going to make them feel comfortable with you responding to the deal when you get a deal on their listing. And so you push back, you see how they respond, you know, and if there's this tug and pull and we're just not getting anywhere, then okay, cool. Look, I'll tell you what, I'll do it for 5 if I represent the buyer. Right now, I'm still at 6. I'm 5 if I represent the buyer, and everybody's happy, right? Chances are another agent's going to sell it. I sell about 12, 13% of my own listings. So there's a chance that'll happen, but hey, that's still 5%. They're happy. I'm happy. We have a deal. We're moving on. So I think the moral of the story is to stay firm, because they're just kind of testing you.
Right. I think when we look at testing too, this is in a lot of relationships, especially with a seller, is assuming that they accept you and that they approve of you and that they want you to be their listing. Don't go into this thinking I have to earn it, or thinking I might not be good enough, or thinking, you know what, shoot, when they test me on this commission thing, thinking, oh crap, maybe they don't think I'm worth 6%. When we start to think that we're not worth it, when we truly start to have that doubt come in our mind, they're going to sense that. Okay. So you got to go into these presentations just assuming you are the best, assuming that they fully accept you, approve of you, and that they're going to sign your listing agreement. Shauna, how would you handle that when someone wants you as their listing agent, but they want you to do it at a discount?
So for us, we go back to how many homes we've sold, how many days on market. We look at sales price to list price ratio and how we outperform the market. Right now, for the last 12 months, if a seller lists with us, they're going to get 1.7% more in sales price to list price ratio anyway. So if we're talking about 1% and I'm already getting you, 0.7% more than the people that are charging you 1% less, what are you really saving at the end of the day? Also, I know exactly how much it costs us to put a listing on the market and market it the way that we like to market it to get it sold. So if they're asking me to discount, then I'm sharing with them, look, this is exactly what it takes to get your home sold and get the most money possible. I don't know if other agents have shared with you how much we actually have to spend to make this happen at an effective level, but this is what we're doing. Now, are there any of those services that you don't want, or would you like to extend your time on the market? And at that point, they're like, no, we don't want to do that. We just want to get it sold. We want to move on. We don't want to do that. We want the most money. So it's usually taking care of itself with just filling them in and educating them. I mean, I love educating our sellers on exactly, all the steps that we're taking. So it's fun for me.
Cool. Awesome. So we just got another question from Brandon Higgins. As a newer agent, would you slightly discount and build stats, or just be firm on commission? I'm going to answer that real quick, because no, you don't want to slightly discount your commission just to build stats, because what you want to build are behaviors, habits. If you start with your habit and your behavior of discounting commissions, it becomes easier to just normally discount your commission. You want it to be normal to charge full commissions. I know a lot of our mastermind members are charging 7%, keeping 4.5%, and a processing fee of $900 or more for their processing fee. So you set the stage for what your value is, no matter what level of agent you are. So here's a question I'm going to ask you, Chasten. What is your top objection that you consistently experience, and how do you handle it or overcome it in a listing presentation?
Um, I mean, kind of right now in our market is the commission. I mean, we're in Dallas. There's so many agents, and we have so many companies. And like I said, I mean, the way that I do things, we are on more of the higher side, and so being able to overcome those with, I mean, like I've had to make some adjustments. I'm not gonna lie. And what I've done was I actually created a different tiered commission to where it literally ranges from 8% and goes down to 4, depending on not only what we do, but what services they want, how the deal ends up being structured, all that kind of stuff. Because I mean, there's so much competition out here, and you know, we can all show value, but there comes a point when we had to make some adjustments. And so with doing that though, it's actually worked out a lot better, because not only has the conversation changed from, oh, I want a lower commission, it's gone to, oh well, I don't mind paying this commission, which is more than the standard, based on y'all doing all of this, or like based on me being able to get this. And then even on top of that, we're offering I mean, we charge a transaction fee of $295 for each transaction. And it's really just the stuff that we offer them. It's not just during the actual like listing time frame, but even after it. So we've adapted things like moving supplies and housewarming parties, and if they buy from us too, then we do this and this. So it's different structures for different deals nowadays with us.
Cool. Awesome. So here's a question for you, Brian. If they don't sign the listing agreement at the appointment, how do you handle the follow-up process?
Great question. If this happens, what I aim for every single time is before I leave the house, I want to set a follow-up appointment with them to come back, whether it's within 24, 48 hours, or depending on what they're saying. Most of the time I can get that appointment. I would say 4 out of 5 times I'll get that appointment. Now, if I don't, and whether I do or I don't, as soon as I leave, I send them a video, right? I'll be in my car. I'll shoot them a quick 20 or 30-second video. Hey, Colton, thanks for having me over. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm here if you need me. Just a quick little video. Now, when I get back to the office, the plan of action depends on what we discussed and where they're going and what their time frame is. So if they said, hey, we're going to meet with somebody else, we're going to give it another day or two, or we have another appointment tomorrow night, then I'm calling and texting them that following evening, probably an hour after that appointment, and saying, hey, what's going on? What's the status? You know, are you ready to go? So it really is a constant contact from that point, but it's also derived directly from the conversation and meeting. So it's based on their time frame.
Cool. Awesome. So I want to take a pause from all of the questions. I appreciate y'all asking questions because we only have about 15 minutes left. I want to ask you guys real quick, the WGR Summit. It's coming up, Dallas, Texas, September 19th through the 21st. Y'all are going to be there either speaking or on a panel. Let's just start with you, Shauna, because you're actually a mastermind member. You're going to be on the female panel. And all of you guys, just so you know, these guys are like $500 to $1 million plus earners that are here and that are going to be there as well. So Shauna, why do you want to participate in the summit? What are you excited about with the summit in Dallas, and why should these guys be here?
I'm always excited to hear from Brian. Brian knows this. We met last November. Our team, the guys that are on this panel, our team watches their videos when they're onboarding with us. There's always so much to learn from each other, and there's always so much to learn from the mastermind. Every event that I've been to that Colton has hosted has been life-changing for me. And I know that sounds crazy because at this point, you know, I've been to at least 4 or 5 that I can think of, and every time I go back, I'm re-energized. I come away with wonderful new ideas. The people that are in the mastermind are phenomenal. I mean, the side conversations we have and the intuition that they have, looking at your business from an outsider's perspective from a different market, is incredible. The things that I pick up on as well that are going on in other markets that give us tips and tricks on how to really improve and capitalize here, the results speak for themselves. You guys, 3 years ago, I was selling somewhere between 40 and 50 homes a year. Now I'm the number 9 agent in my market. and we have a top 10 firm that I own in my market, which is freaking incredible. Because in the next 2 years, we're going to be number one. Like, we've looked at the numbers, we've looked at the statistics, we're on the way there. So I definitely wouldn't miss this event for anything. I'm really excited.
Awesome. I'm super excited too to have you on panel and with Spring and Shauna or Amanda, and just learn from some of the ladies up there.
And Spring is freaking phenomenal, guys. She is a beast. Like, I'm
Right.
excited to hear from her again too.
So she's on track to do 100 million in volume this year. So it's really cool what she's doing. She's already had this first 6-7 months in real estate, her biggest year in real estate ever. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say. Imagine how many of you guys want to do 100 million in volume. That's crazy. Ricky, why do these guys need to be in Dallas, and what makes you want to be involved with this?
Dude, Shauna just got me so fired up. I'm ready to come down there to Dallas right now and start talking to people on the street about this. So it's so cool because what we did today, right? This is like a little taste. You got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of different perspectives on different ways you can do things. And that's what the summit is going to be. It's going to take all the biggest influencers in the industry, right? And we're going to share everything that we're doing. And then you can identify where you are, what stage in your business, and you'll identify the exact actions you need to take your business to the next level, right? And you can get everyone's perspective. And I think too, just being around the energy, right? Just being around the energy of other people that are trying to succeed, and the speakers, if you come to the VIP night, is just going to be an incredible positive push for you to take your business to the next level. And I think everybody that goes that really takes advantage of this situation, they're going to end their year a lot stronger than they thought they were going to end it.
Awesome. Cool. Chasten, what about you, my man? Why are you going to be, you live in Dallas, but why do you want to be involved with the event?
But I'm excited to go. Yeah, you know, I mean, I really feel like everybody, especially all of us, we are preparing to literally bring our like top A game stuff to share at this one place. You know, these masterminds and these webinars that we've been doing, like Ricky said, are just a taste. And I'm excited, and I know that we're coming from all over and all different markets, so we all have different ways of doing things and things to share, and I just know that it's going to be probably the most valuable thing that any real estate agent can attend out of all those events out there. And I see them all over the place. This lineup, panelists, speakers, it is the hottest lineup I have ever seen happen in the industry, especially in 2019. There is no better place that a real estate agent can be than the WGR Summit this year. I know I'm preparing to just blow my own socks off. So I can imagine what these guys are preparing.
How many of you guys listening in today, you guys got a bunch of value from these guys about your listing presentation? Like, you're like, wow, this is something I can really go apply, that I can really make happen in my business. Here's what's cool, and Ricky had talked about it. When you get to Dallas, it's more than just information. It is an energy that embodies you, that allows you to leave and perform at a higher level. Every one of these guys and gals on this panel have invested to go to some sort of program. Like, Sean has been coming to the WGR Mastermind. She's been to other events. Ricky speaks at events. He's been to events. BC and I have been to events together. Chasten has invested in this. But one of the things is, you cannot wait to invest. It's like buying real estate. You cannot wait to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself and move forward more quickly. Brian, thank you for being here today. Why do these guys need to be in Dallas? What's Dallas going to be about?
First of all, I'm excited because Chasten said he'd have a six-pack by the time the summit came. So that reveal on stage, that's going to be cool. This is cool, man. You know, like, we know about all the other real estate events that constantly go on, and this is something that's entirely new, innovative, and fresh. And I think that's the best thing, you know, to get all of us here together in this style, in this format, is just unheard of, you know?
Right.
And the venue is going to be amazing. And what you guys said, I really need to reiterate that, because I think that's what's missed about, you know, getting around these people that are on the same journey and the energy, because some of the best people I've met and connected with have been at events like this, right? I remember going to my first real estate event, and at that event, I made connections that I still have to this day that benefited me tremendously when I was new, because those are the people that I was talking to on a weekly basis and role playing with, and those are the people that helped shape me into the person that I am today. So it wasn't even the information at the seminar, it was the individuals that I met at the seminar, right? So when you step out of your world and your reality and you go to these events, right, that's what's going to inspire this change. It's much different than just sitting at home and watching this online. When you're there in person, it's different. And when you tune into that, man, sky's the limit.
Awesome. How many of you guys listening in here today have been to one of our events or my events before? BC obviously has been there. He spoke at it. Sean has been to several of them. And they're so different than what other events are. Dan has been. I was actually hanging out with Dan last night doing some Dragonfly. Jen has been. So if you guys couple that are listening to the band, put in the comments kind of like what was the experience like to be at one of those events. I'm going to share my screen real quick because we only have a couple minutes left, and I just want to add finish with some value. You guys can all see my screen. Let me know in the chat box if you can see it. This is the lineup for the event. It's going to be 2 full days and a VIP night. Okay, so the VIP night's going to be in Dallas on the 19th. And it's going to be for VIP members and my mastermind members. So we'll have 50 to 100 people there that you're going to be able to network with and get ideas from and rub shoulders with. And you're going to be able to meet with the speakers like Ricky and Chasten and Brian and Shauna, myself, some of the others that are going to be there. So you're going to be able to be highly involved with them. So we've got 2 panels involved. We've got a men's panel with Matt Kelderman, Brian Force, and Nick Good. These guys are doing about 300 home sales a year between the 3 of them. And so we're going to have an hour with them where we're just asking questions about their process from going from brand new to this business to where they're at today, which is top level 4 and level 5 agents. Then we're going to do the same thing with Shauna Overman, Amanda Schleniger, and Spring Benson. These women are all $500,000 to $1 million plus income earners. And this is for the ladies out there to just show, hey, this isn't just a man's game. This is all about learning from the best women and the best men in today's industry. And what's cool about everyone that's either speaking on the panel or is a panelist in the questions is they are all in this kind of age group of 30 to 40 years of age for the most part, where they're doing business a little bit of old school and a lot of bit of new school, and they've really married it together to just take their business and their lifestyle and their happiness to another level. Okay. So I will be one of the lead trainers at the event, and I'm going to be structuring this whole event based on 5 levels of a real estate agent, meaning this is going to be for a brand new agent. This is going to be for an agent that's been in the business for 20 years. We're going to help you identify where you're at, where you're stuck, and what you need to do to move on to the next level. So Dan, who's been to my event, said proximity is power. I always walk away elevated with a plan for my business and my life. Jen said, I learned so much from the agents that I met there, as well as the education Colton provides. So these are definitely, these are people who've been there. You got to be there, guys. So here's the lineup, though. I got Ricky Caruth. You guys have him on here today. How many of you guys know who Ricky is? Like, he literally blows the roof off. His whole mission is to, reduce the failure rate in real estate. The guy sells over 100 homes a year, $1 million plus in commissions every single year. He's going to be on this stage twice, day 1 and day 2. We're going to have Brian Casella on the stage as well. He's going to, oh, by the way, Ricky's going to be talking a lot about building relationships and how he's built his business through relationships and what you guys need to do as a level 3 agent to leverage yourself, but still have a life and still really make it about the client. Brian is been in the business for several years now, and he's going to be talking about a level 2 agent, which is how do I create certain standards for my business? How do I have a personal contract for business? And then we got Joshua Smith, that's $300 million in volume sales. Danny Morrell, if you guys don't know him, $40 million in revenue. Chasten Miles, you guys have met him today. And then my friend Samantha Skelly, who's going to teach you how many of you guys have had some stress in your business? I know Ricky and I talked about this recently. Like, you got some things that pop up that kind of stress you or knock you out a little bit, right? So Samantha's going to teach us some techniques to literally deal with that stress immediately so that we can level up our emotional state and move forward. So that's the panel, guys. It's going to be all day on the 20th and all day on the 21st. For those of you guys who are asking how you get the tickets, it's Shauna just put it in there, www.thewgrsummit.com. Use the promo code listing. Here's what's going to happen. You get promo code listing, you get 2 things. One is you get $100 off your ticket. So most people are paying $297 for the event. You get it for $197 plus anyone that purchases today. This is today only. I'm going to include a $500 value, which is my listing presentation master, which is actually not even a product that I sell. It's only available for my mastermind partners. my mastermind partners pay $5,000 up front to be a part of the mastermind. And so they're the only people who have actually access to that. So I'm going to give that to you guys free today as well. So let's wrap it up with just a few more questions and anything you guys have to finalize to say either about the event or about the listing presentation. So let's start with you, Brian.
Yeah. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you to everybody here. This is an event you definitely want to go to. I can tell you, me personally, and I know probably for all the other speakers too, there's something we give that's unique to every event, right? Like I may have for example, for my presentations, I may have a certain concept or idea that I want to get across, but it's going to be done differently and delivered differently every time. And the information is going to be slightly different too. So if you go, you're going to get something unique from me and everybody else. That's guaranteed.
Awesome. Chasten, what else would you like to share about either the event or listing presentation?
Yeah, as far as the listing presentations go, I would just say, especially to newer agents, because I used to put so much pressure on myself for these listing presentations, and they are serious events, and you want to get the business from them, but try to be yourself as much as possible. You may not be able to connect with everybody. You're not going to want to take every listing, but just try to be yourself as much as possible and don't overcomplicate it like we overcomplicate everything. But I'm excited for everybody to come to Dallas, and I'm gonna brag and stuff. We have a lovely city, and we're super excited to be able to host this, and this is going to be an amazing event. So yeah.
Awesome. Shauna, any final words about listing presentation mastery or the event?
I'm going to touch on the event and just say, one of the first things I did in this business was go to an event. I didn't even have my license yet. I was 1 week out from my license being activated. And looking back, if there's one thing that changed my business, that changed the trajectory altogether, it was taking advantage of opportunities like this. So if you're on the fence, I would say definitely make the trip to Dallas. It's going to be incredibly valuable, and it can change your life.
Awesome. Cool. What about for those folks who's like, I got to buy a ticket, then I got to fly there, then I got to get a hotel stay. Like, what would you say to those folks?
Just do it. Just do it. If you want to change your life, just do it. It's
right.
completely up to you to make that decision, but you need to make that decision and do it.
Right. Otherwise, you're going to sit there kicking yourself in the butt saying, oh, I wished I could be there. I wish that I could be learning. I wish I could be taking my business to the next level. I wished I could do this. I wished I could do that. And that's actually a sense of fear. Fear is what will keep you from maximizing your potential. The difference between a highly successful and just an average individual in this business or any business is their commitment. Interested people, they let fear dictate the actions they don't take. Committed people to their business, their life, their finances, their health, relationships, they do it anyways, not without fear. Not without being uncomfortable. Just go do it. Ricky, any final words about the listing presentation mastery or the event coming up?
Well, I shouldn't have to say anything about the event. If you guys aren't coming to the event, or if you don't have a ticket, if you aren't planning on coming, I don't know what to say to you. Something's wrong with you. But as far as the listing presentation goes, I want you guys, I got 2 quick things. One, use my philosophy on FE, I call it friend or family effect, right? The way that you talk to your friends and your family, your mom, your dad, your best friend, all those people in your life that you feel really comfortable with, I want you to take note when you're talking to those people about your body language, your tone of voice, speed of voice, everything, the way you're breathing, everything, and try to emulate that when you're talking to your clients. The second thing is I want you to talk less and listen more. Out of the conversation, out of the amount of time that someone's talking between the conversation of you and the prospect, I want you to be talking 20% of the time. Them 80%, you 20%. And of the 80% of your 20%, you need to be asking questions. So talk less, listen more, use the FE, come to the event. I want to see every single person watching this live thing right now at the event. I want to shake your hand personally.
How many of you guys already have a ticket for the event? Drop that in the comments down below. I'd love to know who you guys are. Seriously, when we look at the lineup for this, I was so frustrated with the coaching industry selling products to people that weren't working or not working or aren't even feasible or super complicated and super difficult to figure out, right? What we want to be able to do, and each one of these guys said today, the secret to an amazing listing presentation, it's also the secret to an amazing business. Keep it super simple. We know that complexity is the enemy of execution. That's what we're going to deliver to you guys in Dallas. None of us, by the way, grew up with a bunch of money. None of us grew up with our business handed to us. We all had to work and create from the ground up with what we've been able to build. Now, we are all, I don't know how old all of these guys are, but I know we're all under 40 for sure. And to be able to do it in that short of time frame doesn't mean we're better than anyone else, but it means that we do have some skill sets that we can share with you. They're going to help streamline your success. What if you could streamline going from where you're at today to keep you from failing in the business to getting to $500,000 or $1 million in the next 3 to 5 years versus in the next 10 to 20 years? What will that do for your entire life? Now, I better just see y'all in Dallas because you're crazy if you're not there. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you. You can go get your tickets one last time. Here's the link, www.thewgrsummit.com. Use the promo code listing today. Save $100 for the summit. That means you get your ticket for $197. Plus, you can buy an extra ticket for another $144. And you're gonna, anyone that buys it today for today only is going to also get the WGR listing presentation master included. Walk you through step by step how we, my team, do our listing presentation, and then you can take from there what works, what doesn't work, throw it out, and then just adapt and make sure you create an awesome listing presentation. Thank you all so much for being here today, Brian, Chasten, Ricky, Sean. I know you guys are all busy, and I know you guys deliver some awesome value today. So everyone that's here today, give yourselves a hand for stepping up, learning some more. Now let's go do it. Put it to work. Go take what you've learned today. Get into action. We'll see y'all in Dallas. We'll see you later.
Bye.